Hello and welcome to the next part in my little tutorial series for Platinum Arts Sandbox. And again, I'm using, I said I wouldn't mention it again, but I'll make sure that I mention it at least once officially here. I'm using what I believe is Platinum Arts Sandbox 2.81. I'll verify that in a minute. If you don't see a cursor after you've exited out of Sandbox, just right click anywhere on the open screen, or conversely you can press Ctrl-Alt-Delete to bring up and this is for Windows XP SP3, which is what I'm using, that you can use Ctrl-Alt-Delete to bring up the Task Manager, and that'll also show up the cursor. So I'm going over here to Sandbox, and I'm clicking on Click Me to Start. I'm not going to go over every last thing that I did in the last video. Instead, I will just kind of narrate my key presses as I make them. So I'm pressing F1, going into editing mode, and it does say 2.81, 2.8.1. and that is the latest version, as far as I know, of Sandbox. I'm clicking on New Map. Now we're going to go over some basic things here. So in this video, we're going to press E. I don't know why I said in this video, but to change your cursor, I wouldn't call it cursor, to change your selection box, we'll call it that, size, press and hold G, and then press the mouse, not press, but roll the mouse wheel up, and then roll the mouse wheel back. Rolling it up in an invert setup will make it larger, and rolling it back will make it smaller. And I don't know what it'll do in other setups, but left click to start a selection area, right click to complete it, right click to extend it. Space bar to deselect. Left click and drag to drag out a selection area. Well, that's interesting. So if you go off to the side a little bit, you can also get it to go up a little higher. Right click and hold to move a selection area. That's something not a lot of people talk about. You can also right click and hold here, and if I was to go out now, you'll see that we're above the ground. And I can also right click to change the area that's selected. I was on the front, now I'm on the top, and it all works with opposite corners, so always remember that. Now I'm on the other side, now I'm going over here, and I'm right clicking there. See how I've changed the selection. Pressing H to deselect. Scroll the mouse wheel back in my case, and this will make a piece of terrain come up. You will pull a piece, not terrain, this is geometry. We'll get into terrain later. So you'll get a chunk of geometry which takes the shape of a cube up. And you can just keep doing that. Keep in mind that the geometry will come towards you. So if I'm rolling the mouse wheel back and I'm doing that, you'll see now that this geometry came toward my camera. And you might be able to make use of that. For example, maybe you want to make a tunnel that curves down, you might be able to do that. And that is mouse wheel forward to dig down into the earth. And technically this is pushing away geometry, and mouse wheel forward. I won't go into terrain in this video, but to work with terrain, left click and then right click for a selected area where you want the terrain to be in. If you want to constrain it. If you don't want to constrain it, then maybe you won't do a defined area, but then you might want to do this like around a house or anything you build out of geometry to protect it, because terrain will not go inside or outside of this box here depending on where you do it. If I remember correctly, Let me see about that. I press H and I'm over here, and I am no. Okay, so the terrain is going to be inside of the box, so you can't really use the box to protect by selecting something. You're going to have to place, like, I don't know how you do it, like on the outsides of it and work on it in parts or something. But now we'll only build terrain in here, and terrain is done drag up and down by using the mouse wheel. We won't go into any more of that in this tutorial, but we'll cover that in the next one. Okay, I think that covers it, and I'll see you in the next video.